Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming by and stopping to see my predicament. And I believe that's the best way to describe this mid-year recap that I'm trying to do here. So first off, what we started with at the beginning of the year, so let's scooch everything aside. So I thought I was pretty decided on having a system that I could take everywhere since I knew we would still be traveling, and I wanted something that I could carry with me and edit as I wanted to because I knew I wanted different sections. So obviously a customizable system, and discs being one of my favorite things, I thought this would be the way to go. Now where I perhaps messed up is that I gave myself this to work with on my system. I decided not to buy any printables because I was having a hard time committing to any one set, and instead I bought myself a set of planners. This one in particular was one of my favorites. This layout seemed to be such a perfect choice for what I wanted to do homeschooling wise, and it did work out pretty well. So this was what I was planning to use for homeschooling. And you guys may know that this has been my tried and true layout that I've loved for quite some time. This is a monthly and a daily in one. So this was going to be used for my daily personal tasks to do. We had the homeschool one. We also had, give me a second here. Some of you planner girls who have been in the game for a while may recognize these. These are some undated horizontal planner pages that came from a planner that I bought way too long ago, and I still had these available in my stash, and some stickers as well. So I had planned to use these as my work planner, so I was dating them accordingly to the months. This was going to be for work. And then lastly, a new addition I was trying out was these daily sheets, these daily A5 sheets from Sterling Ink. So you can see that they have the day and the month for each one. So December 2nd, December 4th, again, daily sheets. So this was essentially my 4 sets of planners that were going in here. My work, my personal, my homeschooling, and I always like to have spare sheets of notebooks paper just to kind of like jot down my ideas and have more space for free planning. Now, as you can tell, this one was an easy fit because it does belong in discs. The others, however, I had to size and cut so they could fit in my planner. So that was kind of like the first issue that I gave myself. I thought, being that I've liked the format of the Day Designer cutouts in here before, it wouldn't be an issue. And truly, it wasn't. I still very much like them. And for how many inserts you get from buying this little planner and putting them in here, it's very cost effective, which was my main thing for doing it. Not only is it cost effective, but I know that it's a layout that I like, and I like how it works for me on a daily basis. So that went in here. Then the student planner was what followed. So here is a section of how the student planner is. I had to change some things around just because I do have a bit of a personal information on the other pages. So forgive me if these don't line up. But you get the idea of the kind of view that I had. Everything, once I trimmed this to size, it fit fairly well on the discs. So this is what the corners would look like with the weekend here, a synopsis of what the week would have, and then the breakdown section, which I very much loved. It was great. And then finally at the end was, sorry, this is not the... And then finally at the end, this is where I kept my Sterling Ink journaling paper. So this was really handy to just jot down any quick notes. So why didn't this work? Well, there was a lot of cutting to do, and during the time that I started this, I still had a fairly recent new addition to our family, and I just couldn't find the time to sit and cut nicely all of these things. So that fell through the cracks. Also, I didn't have a personal weekly layout, and come to find out, that's what helps me stay consistent the most. Every week having something to go to kind of like keep my creative juices engaged and going. And lastly, just for anyone who doesn't know, this paper, at least with my pen, which is the Pilot G2 at a 0.38, it bleeds. So I have to give it, I really have to spoil it and give it time to do its stuff. So anyways, I was pretty unmotivated with the results of what I thought would be the perfect ideal system for me. So that went completely to the wayside. And around March, I decided to go back to basics, which is what I have been using for the past 2 years, a Sterling ink planner, where everything could just be in one book. And it's just not sticking. I want to say that the main reason why this isn't working for me is because I wanted to try out the horizontal layout, since I was noticing, then this is my 2025, something that I would do a lot would be that instead of using the columns in a vertical fashion, I found myself oftentimes creating my own layout. So as you can see here, this got broken down into 4 days here, 3 days over here, and then just completely different from the typical. Let's see if I can find another one. There's another one that I did. So I put the days on the side and then a checklist over here. But yes, I really liked experimenting with so many other different types of layouts. And I was like, you know what, maybe I would work best in a horizontal layout, which would allow me to be more creative on each sets of weeklies. So for example, this would be one, right? And I still find myself having at least one set of verticals and then planning out the rest, but I don't know, I think it's a little dull. I'm just not feeling these. So right now I'm at a point where I don't know if it's the layout that is my issue in this planner, or if it's the bound planner itself. I mean, I'm kind of using it, kind of not. And this is why I come to you today, because I am hoping that talking about this out loud would help clarify some of the things that have me in my stuck zone. One of which I know is not having the time to plan, but I'm wishing that at least clarifying how I want to plan will be easier, will make it easier when I do have the time. I have learned that I don't like to always have to set up my weekly layout. Sometimes I just want to start writing in it. So that may be one thing that in this type of layout I don't feel I can start. I don't know where to start. And that's something that really did help me in this one, that I always had the vertical, that if it was going to be a busy week, I could just start writing and not have to worry about setting up a layout. And my brain was always ready to start on a vertical. So that was something nice to have. I guess this is just going to be a reminder of like, hey, you don't like horizontal layouts. So because this has not been working for me as my catch-all, I'm going to try to blend some things together. And I was excited at being a mid-year to introduce a couple of things into my planner lineup. So are we keeping this? Yes, to keep this as my weekly for now. So hoping this can be my weekly setup, like that if life doesn't give me enough time, I can just at least jot things down on a weekly basis. So talking about the additions, this is me, your planner journal friend from the internet, telling you, shop your stash before you do anything else. I bought this beauty, and I was a little hesitant at first. I was like, do I really need this? Do I need to add the Day Designer to my collection? I definitely knew I wanted something that was a daily checklist, and I knew that this is something that had worked for me. And I was like, I mean, technically, I can keep a daily checklist here. I have done so in the past on my A6. So I knew there was a possibility of not needing it. But being that in the past, this one has always worked well, I was like, you know what? I want to have that option there. Why do I say shop your stash? Because, my dear friend, goodness, sometimes you forget what dates you have. And silly me, I thought this one ended in June. This planner here runs until December 2026. The new planner I just bought, though she is a cutie and matches my current planner, my current Sterling so much better. My dear friend. July 2026 to June 2027. In other words, I have 6 months that overlap. I did not need this. I had what I needed right here. I thought this one ended in June. So, oh my gosh. I really got so bummed when I found that out. So definitely, before you go jumping into anything else, see, like, girl, open up the dated stuff and check your dates. I didn't think I had to hear that. Well, turns out I did. So I'm really trying to see if there's anything I can use this paper for. I don't know. If I figure something out, I'll let you guys know. I've actually already been using this planner. It's not like I can return it. I've cut and written on it already. So yeah, what a day it was when I found that out. So new planner lineup. This is going to be personal weekly, and this is going to be my daily checklist. I have actually already put the pages of this one into my disc bound, so I have that option here. I don't have to be carrying around this chunky fella. I can carry around this skinny fella. This is what I currently have, and another friend that I added into my current set is right here. Now the planner ladies and gents who have been in the game for a long time know that this is a classic. Erin Condrens were kind of like the it thing for a while. And I like that this version, though very colorful in the front, is actually fairly nude inside. And as you can see, it's quite beautiful. This is kind of like the only touch, and everything else is very black and white. As you can see by the layout, I am definitely using it as my homeschool one. I actually was not able to find another set like this one. I know that it was available at my local Target, but I couldn't locate it. I found this one first. And being that I had never really tried an Erin Condren, I thought it would be a nice thing to check out. I liked the feeling of the paper. I liked that here I had more space. So this layout has been working great, as obviously you guys might have guessed, subjects, and then what we're going to do every day with Saturday and Sunday over here in a smaller capsule, because most likely we're not doing anything on that day. So love it. Love the type of paper. This one is also a whole 18-month, so that's going to be nice too whenever I want to go back and see what we're doing, as if I'm going to have a planner for that long. But if I were to have it that long, that's nice. It's nice to know that I have that option. So it doesn't end until June 2027. Oh wait, stop. So is it a 6? Oh no, it's not an 18-month then. Give me a second. And lastly, to this mid-year lineup, for all those girls who just love a good planner haul, I also found this little guy. And this one is more so for my daughter. I haven't really implemented it into my set of planning. But all we do in here is that right now, since she's learning her days of the week, we're practicing writing out the word. So for example, this one would be May, and she would write down Monday right here, and Tuesday right here, and Wednesday right here. And this is kind of like a good way for them to see what was the day before and what day they are currently on. They get more of a visual of like, oh, yesterday I wrote in Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Today I'm writing in this day. Today is Thursday. So that's the main reason why I got this one in horizontal style, so she could write her days. And I also like that it was kind of like in miniature written down there, so she could have a guide as to how to write it. So that was the whole point of me getting this planner. However, I was quite surprised that when I opened it up to the second half, it has this gorgeous section. Here is my planner player self-talking, and always looking to the side instead of committing. But if I ever want to check out or try something new, I think this would be a fun layout too to try out, as in do all of the things we have to do for the week, all of the material we have to study, kind of like maybe down here, I don't know, brainstorm on vocabulary or science projects, and then kind of like the focus for each week. Right now, our three main things that we have to do on a daily basis is math, reading, and phonics. So it would be like the perfect little habit tracker. But I am not starting on this just yet. I'm still enjoying the Erin Condren, but I did want to mention that this is something, a little something extra that I wanted to show you guys, because I thought it was a pretty neat planner for anyone who has that kind of, or who enjoys this kinds of layout with the little horizontal weekly and then like a big dump section. And I believe that just about does it. So we have this one for a little girl and tentative playful partner, and then we have our Erin Condren for homeschooling. I have this mash of my Hisbound, which actually is just holding my day designer for now. I do have some of the note paper of the Sterling ink in the Discbound as well. And finally, the comment planner. So I hope you've all enjoyed my predicament, and we'll come back to a much more clear-minded individual. Happy planning, and we'll see you on the next one.